What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another one. We are in the shop, and today we're working with this beautiful cherry fork. There's lots of interesting grain patterns in this one, lots of fruity colors. Cherry is one of my favorite woods to work with. Shout out to Ivan, who sends me these in exchange for some fly tying materials. And yeah, so I drew this shape on there and it does fit, but I'm gonna do something a little bit different on this go around and go for a more traditional style like Y Natty. And to do that, I'm gonna be winging it. I don't have a template, so I'm just gonna do a lot of measuring and sketching, and we'll see what we come up with. It's either gonna be great or it's gonna be garbage. What's life without a little experimentation, huh? Here we go. All right, so ruler is real important, and a pencil. I'm gonna make some marks at 4 inches so that I can be sure that I hit my 4-inch width. And that will give me, like, that'll be where my tips end so that I can, I don't know, keep it consistent with what I normally shoot. I'm gonna pick a slingshot that I like. This is my favorite of all. And I'm going to lay this on my mat so that I can use these lines to judge how deep my Y goes, and that is 1.25 inches. And I'm gonna take this and set it up so it's straight across there, the tips, and then go down that line, 1 inch and 1/4. There's a half, that's 1/4. There we go. Okay. I have my 4-inch tips, my 1.25 inches here. I want to make a V. It's like a nice V in there, but I want them to be, I want each of the fork tips to be the same width and as close to the same angle as I can get. So I grabbed this 3/4 inch piece of pipe. I like my tips to be 3/4 inches. So if I go from there to about there, scribe a line. Yes, it is moving. No, this is not an exact science. It's just me winging it. And by winging it, I mean doing my best to make it perfect. Like, it's pretty clear I do not have a template. All right, there we've got a Y. Oh man, we got a whole bunch of nonsense lines over here. Let's erase all of these. Start over. So we know where that one meets, right? Like this point right here is where this meets. That is our spot. So we're gonna go from that spot out, make sure that it is on my 4-inch mark. Draw me a nice long line there. Nice line there. All right, we have our lines. Sketch this in until our V meets. That'll give me my center line. Make sure that's straight. Okay, fairly confident that that will do for now. So this is going to be our center line. I'm going to line these up that X and this X. Draw a line right down the middle so that I can make a handle shape. My handle shape, man, I don't really have anything to trace, and I want it to be wider than this. So, give me a second and I will try and find something with a cool handle that I can trace out and at least get a rough idea. All right, I'm back. Dug through the old toolbox, and I believe what I have here is a tubing bender, but it's got a nice flared handle on the end, so I'm going to put that right on my center line. Like so. And give that a trace. All the way down. Let me do some quick measuring to make sure that we got it pretty close to where we need. That is about a ½ inch from, so that is exactly a ½ inch from center on that side. And a ½ inch on that side. All right, cool. I'm gonna now hit these with a marker so that I don't get confused when I am cutting it out on the bandsaw. Let's make these nice and dark. Where's this line here? Right about here. That and about like that. All right. Now I'm going to cut it out on the black lines, and this should be a real easy cut because everything's straight. Just one in this way and one out that way, and then a V in there. So that'll be our flip. And we will probably have to do some like trimming and tidying up, and I'll round out the handle so it's nice, and I'll round out the ends with the sander, but you've seen that a bunch. And we will see if we can't make magic happen, you know? Here we go. Okay. Now we sand. Actually, now we put a square up there and see if we can't get these leveled out and see how much my mistake is going to cost me. This one, clearly longer than this one. So if I cut these off flush, I wonder what we're going to get as far as width goes. I did cut them wide, so maybe we're safe. Okay, cut them off so that they are level. We are still 4 1/8 inch wide, which is perfect because I'm going to sand her down a little bit, and I'll probably lose 1/8 of an inch in that process. And now I just need to round all the things out and make it look like your traditional natty. So we're going to start with the handle because this fork situation is going to be a little bit different, right? And yeah, we'll just kind of wing it, see how it goes. Let's round it up a little bit. Everything's looking fairly even. There's obviously a little bit of work to do right here and right here to try and get them a little more comfy and a little less bumpy. But first, I want to draw out what my tips are going to look like. So I'm going to measure 4 inches from here to here, and then I'm going to draw my circles in, and then we're going to cut sand, rasp, whatever, the material away that we don't need, and we should be left with some pretty thin 3/4 inch forks. Show you that in a second. All right, there we be. Both center points are circled. We have our line. I think I'm going to go old school and just use a farrier's rasp and just rasp the bejeebus out of it and get it close, and then finish it up on the oscillating spindle sander. That way I can take it a little bit slower and still remove wood at a reasonable pace and hopefully be a little more careful. We'll see. Okay. Still got a lot of wood. You can see like we're pretty straight down here, and then it really flares out here. I'm gonna have to do some careful stuff. I'm gonna make it flare down similarly on this side, and then I'll have to get in there with a little bit finer file, something with a little more control. And then, yeah, we'll make it pretty. It'll be a pretty fun little straightforward shooter. Anyway, I'm not gonna bore you with the rest of my rasping. Check in when I'm done. All right, done some more rasping. Now to get in here, we're switching to the cheapo gold Amazon wood rasp. I don't know what the brand of these are. It's some Chinese name that I cannot pronounce, but man, are they handy. Really, really nice taper to them, and they remove a lot of wood. Obviously not as much as a giant rasp that is designed for shaping horse hooves, but if you've got a little more time, one of these will do the whole job. This will do the job much quicker. For those of you who are into bow building, this is like a bow builder's secret weapon right here. A draw knife and a farrier's rasp will make every bow that you need. If you want a farrier's rasp, you can either find one online or go to your local feed store. Again, these are for horse hooves, so anywhere that like people have horses, there will be a shop that sells farrier's rasps. They're like 14 bucks. I've had this one for probably 15 years. Let's get raspy. There we go. I'm gonna see if I've got any extra room. I'm gonna take the edge off of this, because you see how this one, I don't know, this one's much sharper than that one is. See how this comes out at a much sharper angle here? I'll, if I've got room, I'll level that up. As it turns out, I do have room. I've got an 1/8 inch to spare, so take that off until they look pristine. Get her. That's looking nice. Now we got to work on a little bit of symmetry here. It looks pretty good, you know, like maybe this could come in a touch. I'm going to go hit that. I'm going to give that one turn on the belt sander and see how I love it. Okay, I'm having all the technical difficulties. We're back. So here we have a slingshot that is fairly symmetrical and Looks to hold pretty good. It's your standard Y shape, which is a pretty cool change from my normal. That needs a little more rasping right there. Hold on a second. I gotta do it while I'm thinking of it or I'll miss it. There we go. Operating a rasp is all about how you hold your face. Check. All right. There we have Slingshot. Nice symmetry. Anyway, the next part is the simplest part. So I left a little bit of lump here. That'll get smoothed out as we sand. This is much too long of a handle. All right. So I like my handles from the bottom about here, where it thins out, about 3.5 inches. So I'm going to take a second and mark that. Kind of scribe a line across. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I will make a mark and then kind of eyeball the rest. Give me an idea of where 3.5 inches is. That's kind of how I do things. Particularly with like small scale projects like this. When it comes to like spear guns, making spear guns, you got to be like within a 64th. It's wild precise. It takes so much longer. Anyway, so I'm gonna cut this off and then put a cool butt shape on this, and then we'll get to sanding. Here we are, front row seats to the most used tool in my shop, the belt sander. 80 grit. We're moving material. This isn't to make things pretty. We're just getting rid of material. Sanding time. What's next? Sandpaper, band grooves, bands. Finish and then bands. But yeah, I mean, we got a Slingshot. That's a pretty nice looking one. And the lighting in here is absolutely terrible. That's what we're working with. But this is gonna pop. Once we get some finish on here, these pink tones will really jump out. That'll be a handy dandy little shooter. Just like straight trad natty. I like it. See you in a bit. Sanded to 320, band grooved with a little bit of super glue. Very light coat of super glue on there. That has been lightly sanded. It's been a while since I shot like a traditional Y frame. It'll be good to get back in touch with it. Some of the Slingshots that really helped me build a passion for this sport were just this, you know, simple, straightforward Y. So yeah, take it back to the roots. Anyhow, that's what we're working with. I am going to put a couple of coats of clear finish over the top of this, and I will see you in the morning when she's all banded up. If she shoots real good, we may take her hunting. We'll see. So we're out hunting with this, and I don't think I ever stopped to give you guys the finished look. Came out really nice. Very cool grain. Color differences in the wood. I hope those show up well on camera. It's got some like light pinks and dark pinks and the yellow of the sapwood. Pretty neat. All right, let's go kill stuff with it. Bottom center. That's not too shabby. Bottom left.
did you shoot?
Spruce cones. All right, everybody, that's a wrap. No animals taken on this series of adventures into the woods with this, but she shoots just fine. It's been really, really rainy. There's not a lot of grouse out and about right now. It was pouring all day today. I figured as soon as the sun poked out, maybe some would come. And we did see a grouse, but we flushed it off before we got a shot. So that's life. Anyway, I shot a bunch of pine cones. Slingshot shoots just fine. She's an absolute beaut. Thanks for tuning in, following along. I hope you're enjoying the build videos, and I will be out in the woods putting meat on the table in no time. See you in a bit.